she was screaming, they're shooting, I can't get out.
I'm calling my mom!
Call that there was an active shooter present at the school.
Today has been a really tragic day in our school.
Especially in, such a small town like this where you pretty much know everyone who lives in the town. You just never think that stuff like this is going to happen.
From WDTN, the station that's working for you, this is 2 News at 6.
From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
As you've seen, we're following 2 major stories tonight. Donald Trump is now president of the United States. We will have analysis, local ties to the inauguration, and a live report from Washington coming up.
But first, our live team coverage of this school shooting in Champaign County this morning.
Authorities tonight confirming that a 17-year-old student shot another student in the hallway at West Liberty Salem High School as school was starting this morning.
We brought you the newest updates from authorities live this afternoon right here on WDTN. The victim has been identified as Logan Cole. He's in critical but stable condition at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus. The suspected shooter is in custody at a juvenile detention facility in Champaign County. Authorities believe the shooting was random and that the suspect intended to hurt more people. The sheriff praised the quick action of law enforcement and school staff.
Now, 2 News reporter Jake Ryle, one of many who's been tracking this story for you all day. He begins our team coverage live at the Champaign County Sheriff's Office.
Mark and Katie, I'm outside of the Champaign County Sheriff's Office. As you mentioned, we just got out of a meeting with the Sheriff's Office as well as the superintendent and prosecuting attorney. They are confirming with us that this shooting was random. It happened in the middle of a hallway right before school started early this morning. Now, 16-year-old Logan Cole was shot more than once by a 17-year-old suspect. He's been taken to Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus, listed right now in critical but stable condition. Back at the school, the call came in at around 7:36 this morning. And within 5 minutes, law enforcement arrived and found the suspect had actually been pinned to the ground by staff members willing to put their lives on the line. Now, that suspect was arrested without incident. Inside each classroom, each hallway, hundreds of students, each teacher, each person having to think quickly to stay out of harm's way. Now, we had a chance to speak with a family member of a student, and her emotional words described what it was like in her granddaughter's classroom.
The teacher just tried to keep them together and collar. They were collaring, she said, but she said once the teacher locked the door and put paper on the window, she knew something was bad. And she said, I knew I had to be strong for my other friends.
Now, as for the victim, the sheriff's office has not yet released that 17-year-old's name because he is considered to be a juvenile. Now, we can confirm he has been charged initially with felonious assault. More charges could be coming in the coming days. Now, as for officials, they are telling us that his court date is set for Monday morning. We're going to be bringing you that court appearance a little bit later on next week. For now, reporting live in Urbana, Jake Ryle, 2 News, working for you.
And the victim, Logan Cole, was taken to Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus. And that hospital is one of the nation's leaders in pediatric health care. 2 News reporter Jordan Bowen is live in Columbus with what we've learned about Cole.
Well, Katie, 16-year-old Logan Cole has been here at Nationwide Children's Hospital since this morning. We're told he's in critical but stable condition after authorities say he was shot multiple times. Now, the family is here by his side, recovering with him. They released a statement shortly today. They say, quote, "We are thankful for the Lord's protective hand on our son. We are also grateful for the outpouring of support from our family, friends, and community. We would like to ask for continued prayers for Logan. Also, we'd like to encourage prayer for the community, the other student, and his family. We are certain they have been deeply hurt as well. We are confident that God has a purpose and plan through this tragedy." Now, Cole is a junior at West Liberty Salem High School. He also plays soccer and is vice president of his junior class. It was around 7:30 this morning when shots were fired. At some point during that time, Cole was shot multiple times. The sheriff's office does not believe Cole was targeted. They believe this was a random act of violence. As for the extent of his injuries, we're still working to learn more on that. We did speak with a classmate who tells us he's a close friend to Logan Cole. Here's what he had to say.
He's goes to almost every single club that we have that has to do with either honors or student council or other such representation for the class. Plays soccer with me on the team. He's an all-around just good guy, good person. He cares for people. And it's very sad that he was there.
And once again, Cole is in critical but stable condition. As we learn more about his injuries, we'll be sure to update you both on air and online at WDTN.com. Live in Columbus, Jordan Bowen, 2 News, working for you.
And we were also there as parents reunited with their children after the students were evacuated from West Liberty Salem High School. The school district directing parents to pick up their children at a local park just a few miles away from the school itself. 2 News reporter Shalisa Gordon live at West Liberty Salem High School with what's been happening there since this morning.
Mark, BCI just wrapped up their investigations just moments ago. Within the past 20 minutes, I saw 3 BCI cars leave the school property. Now, what was once a safe place for students was turned into chaos this morning.
I was in the same hallway that the shooter was in. I was kind of towards the end of the hallway, and we were just sitting in class. Class had just started. And we heard a loud noise.
What she thought was construction noise was actually the sound of a shotgun striking one of her classmates. She says her teacher began barricading the door and the classroom began to panic.
Some of us hid because at first, you never think these things are going to happen. We thought it might have been a drill, but then kids started, ripping the windows open and started filing outside.
She says dozens of students took off running into a cornfield near the school, a moment Ashley says she will never forget.
Especially in, such a small town like this where you pretty much know everyone who lives in the town. You just never think that stuff like this is going to happen.
She says it was surreal because the victim was her friend.
So it's definitely really sad. I know he's a friend of mine. He's a really nice kid, and I know everyone's just sending prayers his way.
And once the building was cleared, I've noticed a couple of parents have stopped by. I see one coming in now to pick up belongings of their kids because they didn't have an opportunity to do that during the lockdown. So some of them are coming back to pick up their cars, cell phone, keys, and other properties from their lockers and classroom. Live in West Liberty, Charlisa Gordon, 2 News, working for you.
And staying with us, investigators are at the home of the alleged gunman, a 17-year-old student, right now.
2 News reporter Tyler Yutzka also there live with a look at what's happening.
And Mark and Katie, investigators with the BCI have been collecting evidence at this property for a good half hour now. In the meantime, deputies have been having this place blocked off for much of the afternoon. The BCI agents currently are gathering evidence both inside and outside of the house. To give you an idea of where exactly we're in the 3900 block of Sinkhole Road, which according to a deputy I spoke with, is on the county line and separates Champaign and Logan counties. Now, it could take these investigators who are searching this home and property hours to collect evidence, possibly well into the night, since they did just get that search warrant approved about just a half hour ago. Investigators say the 17-year-old suspect used a shotgun to injure 16-year-old Logan Cole this morning. In a news conference late this afternoon, authorities couldn't tell us where the teen got the gun from, if it belonged to his parents or someone else. And since the suspect is a juvenile, authorities are not releasing his name. He will, however, be in court Monday morning, and we plan on being there too. But for now, live, Tyler Yutzka, 2 News, working for you.
And we will continue to follow this major story, of course, throughout the night and through the weekend of the coming days. Again, the victim, Logan Cole, a junior at West Liberty Salem High School, is being treated right now at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus, listed in critical but stable condition. His parents said to be encouraged by how he's doing. The reported shooter in this, a 17-year-old student at the same school, is in custody at a juvenile detention facility. That 17-year-old suspect will be in Champaign County Juvenile Court Monday at 9 a.m. as will we.
And the investigation is ongoing, so we will have new information for you coming up tonight on 2 News at 10 on Dayton CW and at 11 o'clock right here, also online at WDTN.com.
Now to today's other major story, the inauguration of President Trump. Coming up, local reaction and a live report from Washington.
Plus, a Miami Valley family waits to watch their son perform at tonight's inaugural ball. We'll meet up we met up with them before the big event.
And unseasonably mild temperatures will start the weekend. When it finally starts to feel like winter again is coming up in the Storm Team 2 forecast.
That I will faithfully execute
The office of President of the United States.
the office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Today, the keystone of the American democracy played out again, the peaceful transfer of power.
Now, President Donald Trump, of course, won the election, promising famously to make America great again. Now he faces the challenge of actually getting that done.
2 News reporter Kelly King begins our team coverage of the Trump inauguration with reaction from local political leaders and experts.
Donald Trump is expected to issue a series of executive orders to turn his campaign into a reality. But local experts say it's not what he does in the early stages, but over the course of his presidency.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Donald Trump is now the face of the nation after taking the oath of office this afternoon.
The inauguration really is important because it is the transfer of power in the United States. It's a historical day.
With all eyes now on the 45th president, many are wondering what's next.
As with every administration, there's the high expectations of what might happen.
There's a lot of focus on the first 100 days, going back to, FDR.
Trump made promises on the campaign trail, everything from immigration.
I'm going to begin swiftly removing criminal, illegal immigrants
To guns.
I'm going to save your Second Amendment.
But UD political science professor Christopher Devine says it's not just about today, but his actions over the 4-year term.
It doesn't have a whole lot of direct consequence, but it helps to establish in people's minds that this change really has happened, and this person's going through the same rituals that past presidents have done.
House Democrats want Trump to have an open agenda for all Americans.
He stands up and says, I understand 55% of the public voted against me, but I'm their president. I want to work with them.
Local lawmakers say they remain hopeful.
Our country is a great country. We obviously have vigorous, protest and debate and speech, and that's really what our country is about. It's what we fight for. And we'll have to see what happens in the next 4 years, but I'm optimistic that we're going to see change.
Aides say we could see orders signed today, but we're more likely to see actions taken on Monday. Kelly King, 2 News, working for you.
And this a live look at the inaugural parade still underway in Washington, D.C. at this hour. We'll have a live report from our nation's capital coming up and speak with the family of a local man who will perform tonight for the new president.
And we're back now with a live look at the inaugural parade underway right now in Washington, D.C. Still to come tonight, lots ahead, the Liberty and Freedom Ball at the Washington Convention Center, followed by the Military Ball at the National Building Museum.
But of course, the big news came earlier, just afternoon. Donald Trump delivering a 16-minute inaugural speech on the steps of the Capitol just after he took the oath.
Chance Seals has a look at the day's events. He joins us live in Washington.
Good evening, a remarkable. Mark and Katie, good evening. Yes, everything right now is running a little behind schedule as you see those people parading through the streets in the dark in front of the new president. But earlier today here, right around noon, Donald J. Trump climbed the steps to the west side of the Capitol. He took the oath of office and then he gave his message. It was all about America first, patriotism, protectionism, and pluralism. Listen.
This moment is your moment. It belongs to you.
The rain began to fall just as Mr. Trump stepped to the microphone and gave his first speech as president.
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
Surrounded by his wife Melania and 5 children and former presidents, Mr. Trump vowed to secure America's borders, increase jobs, improve schools, and rebuild infrastructure.
We will face challenges. We will confront hardships, but we will get the job done.
And he put foreign leaders on notice.
We must protect our borders from the ravages of other countries, making our products, stealing our companies, and destroying our jobs.
To unite this divided country and then fulfill those promises he made. They were big ones, Mark and Katie.
Yeah, Chance, before you go, it's always referred to as the peaceful transfer of power, but not always peaceful today in Washington.
It was not exactly peaceful. Of course, At the inauguration, at the presidential parade, everything is good. But a few blocks away from there, way too close for comfort, was a lot of protests that are not affiliated, it doesn't seem, with the Women's March. These are people who may be anarchists. They have their faces covered. They were setting cars on fire. They were smashing windows of cars, smashing windows of businesses, getting pepper sprayed by police. We know that at least 95 of them have been detained so far. We also know that every Democrat, every Republican, we know the leader of Washington, D.C. has all said, you don't represent us and you need to stop now. So that's the condition right now here in Washington, D.C. Everyone hoping that it calms down a little bit before the real protests get started tomorrow.
All the amazing things that happened over these last 10 years are really just a testament to you.
And now, former President Obama saying farewell to the American people late this morning, actually early this afternoon, at Joint Base Andrews before leaving D.C., heading off to California for a vacation. Mr. Obama spent his final moments in the White House in the Oval Office before becoming a private citizen again.
Now, Chief Meteorologist Brian Davis and your Storm Team 2 forecast.
And tonight's forecast, we'll see those temperatures. They've actually come down fairly quickly this evening, but there's warmer air to the south of us, so I don't think we're going to see a lot of movement now the rest of the night. Just kind of hanging in the upper 40s to about 50 degrees. That'll be the pattern here with our nightcast, and some clouds still around too, partly to mostly cloudy skies. But then with the breaks in the clouds tomorrow, nice warm-up expected, 49, 8 o'clock, but upper 50s at noon, and should make it into the low 60s tomorrow afternoon and around 60 degrees at 5 p.m. Look at those afternoon highs. Low 60s expected, at least in our area. Even some mid and upper 60s heading south into Kentucky, down into West Virginia if you have some travel plans that way. Notice some cooler air on Sunday northwest of us, 45 at Chicago. But even here, we're still expecting those highs to be in the upper 50s to about 60 degrees. Time lapse tonight up in Greenville on the SVG Chevrolet camera showing night falling. We had some breaks in the clouds out there, but more clouds than breaks in the clouds. And still looking at dry weather after some rain over the past 24 hours here in the Dayton area and the Miami Valley. Live Doppler 2 HD continues to be dry. The rains that were around this morning pushing off to the northeast of us now. Most of our weather checkers reporting anywhere about a half inch to about 8/10 of an inch of rain. Although Don Chateau and Sydney, one of the higher totals there at 1.1. Lowell Miller and Greenville, 8/10 of an inch. Up in the Brookville area, Jason Thompson there at 0.9 degrees or 0.9 inches. And looking at rainfall totals across Greene and eastern Montgomery County there around 8/10 of an inch. So pretty good soaker out there, but at least we have dry weather going into the weekend. Right now in Dayton, 48 degrees, southwest wind at 6, and the barometer is rising tonight, 29.74. As I mentioned, plenty of mild air south of us, 61. We're one of the cool spots right now with those clouds breaking a bit, but not expecting a whole lot of movement in the temperature tonight as warmer air continues to filter in from the south. Not a whole lot of precipitation, even though the future track model trying to show some rain, not very likely tonight. Mostly dry weather expected tonight and into tomorrow with those breaks in the clouds. But a different story tomorrow night. Rain becomes a little more likely. Start to see some of those showers break out around the area. That'll be Saturday night into Sunday morning, and even during the day on Sunday, it looks like some of that rain still scattered around the area. And the winds will start to pick up too as we get into late in the weekend and early next week on Monday. Partly to mostly cloudy skies tonight, upper 40s for the overnight lows. And then tomorrow, clouds mixed with a little bit of sunshine, unseasonably mild. We'll climb up into the lower end of the 60s for the highs. Temperatures on Saturday, 62. Sunday's high, 57 degrees. What's interesting is the fact that we're going to see those temperature readings on Sunday around 57, running anywhere, just like Saturday, 25 to 30 degrees above normal for the weekend. Monday's high right around 50 degrees. Looks like a chance of some showers. 50 degrees on Tuesday for the high, with a mix of clouds and sunshine. And then finally some winter weather comes back toward Thursday and Friday. Highs will be in the 30s, even some lows in the upper 20s by Friday, and even a chance of snow showers finally back for Thursday and Friday.
What a concept.
Yeah,
snow in
January around Dayton.
All right, Brian, thank you.
All right, back now to our coverage of the inauguration of Donald Trump. Daryl and Wanda Webb, well, they watched the inauguration from home in Miamisburg today, hoping to catch a glimpse of their son, Jason.
He'll be playing the piano tonight at 7 o'clock during the inaugural ball. 2 News reporter Ethan Fitzgerald joins us now. And Ethan, you spoke with Jason's parents tonight, and they are so excited.
I think that is an understatement. They are thrilled for this. To give a little bit of background, Jason is a musician and producer in Nashville now, but that all started right here in Ohio. Jason's parents say that their son has pursued music aggressively since he was just 5 years old. Jason Webb was born and raised in West Carrollton, where his love for music was fostered by his mother.
This is Isaiah. Well, I played the piano as a young girl. I took piano lessons. And at the age of 5, he started asking me for piano lessons. And as kids are, they have whims. And I thought, well, you know, they'll start something, then stop it, then start and stop. So I thought, well, I'll see what happens.
But that didn't happen with Jason.
Probably for about a year, he was relentless.
That passion led to a scholarship from the University of Cincinnati Conservatory of Music. And today, Jason will take his biggest stage.
We're extremely proud of him. He's overcome a lot of obstacles in his life. When he was younger, he had some major surgeries, 5 total from the time he was 10 to the time he was 19. And that's when his music became so important to him, and it just...
Jason's father, Daryl, says his son has accomplished a lot, but has always stayed humble.
The wonderful thing about him, that makes us even more proud is he has all these accomplishments, but he's very humble. But when he goes to do something, he gives it all he's got.
Jason Webb is scheduled to take the stage tonight at 7 p.m., playing piano for the orchestra for the inaugural ball. Ethan Fitzgerald, 2 News, working for you.
And of course, Lester Holt will have much more on today's presidential inauguration coming up tonight on a special hour-long edition of NBC Nightly News. It begins in a few minutes at 6:30. And of course, we're still following the developing story locally here this morning up in Champaign County.
Again, 1 student shot, another in custody after a shooting at West Liberty Salem High School this morning. What we know about the investigation coming up.
All right, before we go, let's give you one last recap of where the investigation into the shooting at West Liberty Salem High School stands at this hour. We know 1 student, junior Logan Cole, was shot there this morning. He's being treated at Nationwide Children's in Columbus. The reported shooter, a 17-year-old student at the same school, now in custody at a juvenile detention facility. He is due in juvenile court Monday morning. Authorities say Cole, they believe, was not targeted, but was the victim of a random shooting, and they say more students could have been hit had authorities not arrived quickly and staff pinned the kid to the ground. We'll have new information on this story tonight on 2 News at 10 and 11 and online all night at WDTN.com.
Let's get one final look at our forecast.
All right, this evening, well, it looks like dry weather. Temperatures kind of hanging upper 40s to right around 50 degrees. We'll see partly to mostly cloudy skies.
That does it for us. We hope to see you tonight at 10 and 11.
A 1-hour NBC Nightly News is next.